Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Ms. Ferber, I appreciate you actually trying to help us unravel some of this. You're the only one that's answered questions beyond a yes or no, or I don't know, mostly I don't knows, and we do appreciate that, your willingness to more than dodge questions. Mr. Steenkamp, is it correct that your work now consists primarily of making assets available for trustee-free?
Yeah, I mean, one of the top priorities definitely.
Okay, the answer is yes. Are the assets
sales.
he recovers for the benefit of customers?
Sir, I'm not an expert in bankruptcy. I don't know how the, I
Okay.
mean, I don't know.
Or do they go to the creditors and MFG holdings, such as?
Sir.
You don't know that either. Okay, so you would know if any of the assets he pays out would reduce the potential pool of assets available to pay back customers.
Sir, that's for the trustee to determine.
You don't know
how
that
the assets are allocated.
You have no idea? You absolutely have no idea.
Sir,
Under oath, you have no idea what I'm talking about.
No, sir, I believe the Chapter 11 trustee obviously is of the holding company, so it works with the creditors. But, you know, I'm not sure how that process works around allocating out assets amongst the firm.
Did Mr. Free recently propose paying you and others, like Mr. Abelow, substantial bonuses for helping recover assets?
Sir, there had been one discussion, but no bonuses had been proposed as of yet, or had been finalized.
Do you believe you deserve bonus?
Sir, I believe for all the hard work that we're doing, we are just asking to be fairly compensated. We are not part of the discussions on whether that includes bonuses or not.
Yeah, fairly compensated in the future, but not decompensated for the humongous losses that you may have been culpable in. Will you accept bonuses if the motion is approved by the bankruptcy court?
So if the trustee determines that's fair and reasonable compensation.
Because you told us how brokenhearted you are over the losses suffered by these investors, how do you think the customers will feel about the idea of using money that could potentially be used to reimburse them for the money stolen from their segregated accounts under the watch of you and others to pay for the bonus and legal fees of the very people who are running the company that looted the accounts?
Sir, I'm sure the customers want all their money returned.
Are you familiar with the principle called willful blindness? It's a term used when an individual seeks to avoid civil or criminal liability for a wrongful act by intentionally putting himself in a position where he claims to be unaware of facts which would render him liable.
I mean, I'm not specifically aware of that, no.
Okay. You have any idea whether that applies in this case or not?
Well, I would assume if one takes the Fifth, for example, that is something one's concerned about.
Okay. Ms. Ferber, who was involved in the decision to put MF Global Inc. into SIPA liquidation?
As I understand, first, let me say we had, bankruptcy is.
All right, let me make it shorter then. Anyone from the SEC, CFTC, or representing creditors or trading counterparts?
The SEC would have been involved. Only one cannot file themselves under SIPA. I believe it is the SEC that has to make that application or do that. Obviously, there was a period of time overnight where the regulators were deep in conversations among themselves.
Was Mr. Cook with the SEC involved?
He was certainly one of the people who he organized the conference call where we asked to notify the regulators early in the morning on the 31st.
Who was involved in placing MFGH, the holding company, in Chapter 11, allowing the assets to flow to creditors and counterparties?
The board made the determination that the company would file for bankruptcy. Okay,
the board, and particularly anyone in particular in the board?
No, the board of directors.
Okay. I yield back.
I thank the gentleman, and